Hi everyone, how's it all going? And today I thought I'd change things up, and instead of doing an unboxing of Vanish Fafnir, which has already been done about 1,000,000 times now on YouTube, I thought I'd do a review instead, and I thought I'd give my honest opinion on it because I thought that would be better than just unboxing it and saying it looks cool and spinning it once, because that's already been done on multiple occasions, and I wanted to do something different with this bay, and also I tried to unbox it and it went wrong, so that's the main reason why I'm doing this. But nevertheless, I thought it would be better to do a review on this Beyblade. So, Vanish Fafnir. It's probably the best Fafnir we've had in a long time, especially considering Wizard and Mirage weren't really that good, whilst Geist was okay. And, well, with Mirage was okay, but it just wasn't as good as what we expected it to be. The only Fafnir that really took the meta by storm was Drain Fafnir, and that's kind of old now, so you can't really use it anymore. So I'm pretty happy that we've finally got a new Fafnir, which is actually really good in my opinion, because I've used it quite a few times now, and some of the Beyblades it's definitely a lot better than Mirage Fafnir. And one of the reasons why it's better is that it's tankier. It's a lot tankier than Mirage Fafnir, and the main reason why Mirage Fafnir lost a lot of its battles is because it would just get bullied around the arena. It wasn't heavy enough to hold its own, and that made it lose a lot. You know, Glide Ragnarok, which is a stamina type, even though it is a relatively heavy hitter, but still it's a stamina type with a very round base. Well, not round base, round layer. It was able to basically bully Mirage Fafnir around the arena, and it couldn't really spin steel, it couldn't really do its thing. And not only that, I thought Mirage Fafnir had the driver, nothing, was too light to hold it, even though Mirage Fafnir itself was pretty light compared to something like Brave Valkyrie, which was a very good Beyblade. It was just all over the place. I just thought it was a very underwhelming release considering it was a Fafnir Bay. And we even need to talk about Wizard Fafnir. That was an absolute disaster, so I'm actually really happy with how this has turned out. The layer looks a bit like if you fused Geist Fafnir and Wizard Fafnir, this is what it would look like. And to be honest, it looks really nice. It's my favourite looking Fafnir out of all of them. I really like the orb, like the orbs. I think that looks really cool. And I like that they finally changed up the chip a bit, considering the one on Mirage and looked way too similar to the one on Wizard. So I thought it was just a bit lazy. And if I were to take the parts, let's start with the driver. And if I'm going to be honest, the driver is a bit like, it looks a bit like Yielding, what came with Jaeger Yggdrasil. And it has a free spinning spring-loaded ring around it, which makes it better for Life After Death. And I think a lot of people are over-exaggerating how bad this is, because people are saying it's a dreadful driver, and in my opinion it's not really that bad. It's not a competitive driver. There is a lot better drivers to use, like Drift or Baron, but I actually think it's a solid driver. It's outspun Drift before, yes, and this Fafnir did outspin Loose for the End. It's outspun Revolve. It's not the worst driver ever, and it does have the spring-loaded gimmick, which makes it suit Fafnir, considering a lot of Fafnir bays have the spring-loaded gimmick. Nothing does, and Absorb does. The only one that didn't was Rise, but that wasn't free, that was Fumia, so you could kind of let that slide. And yeah, I think the driver as a whole, it looks cool with the translucent orange, and I think a lot of people have scapegoated it, and I think it's pretty unfair considering it isn't really that bad. If I was to improve it a bit, I think if they made this rubber like Yielding, you know, this is plastic, so that might have made it slightly better, who knows. However, it probably would have wore down and it would have made it into an attack type driver, so I don't know, but I think it's a cool looking driver. I don't think it's competitive, but I think it's solid, and the free spinning wheel around it makes it so it has decent Life After Death. Plus the kick counter, a few people have managed to do that, which is pretty cool considering it is an anime gimmick. But yeah, this driver was mainly made for the anime, but apart from that, it's a solid driver. The next part is the tapered disc, and it's kind of fused between Ratchet and proof. Like if you put proof on Ratchet, this is what it would look like, and it's pretty solid. It looks a bit like a shield, but it definitely reminds me a lot of Ratchet, and it's very round like proof, which makes it good for life after death, which suits Fafnir a lot. It is a dynamite disc, so it isn't like your normal discs, and it probably won't work on your regular Beyblade, but nevertheless it looks pretty cool, and I'd say it's relatively solid. Haven't really had any issues with it. It's a solid weight, it's not too light, not too heavy, and I think this has the potential to be competitive, especially considering how round it is. It can be like the new proof, and that's pretty cool. It looks like Ratchet combined with proof, and that would be a pretty cool combination, if I'm not gonna lie. So I think that's a solid enough disc. I can't speak today. So the next thing we have is the layer as a whole. I'm just gonna take it apart. My only real criticism with the layer is that the armor can sometimes get stuck onto the Fafnir core, and that's mainly an issue on high mode, not low mode. Because I originally put it in high mode and it got stuck, which it meant that I had to really go to extreme lengths to get it off. I really had to bend the rubber. But let's start with the rubber base, and this is really good. I honestly think it's the main part of the bay. It's the best part of the bay. It's very flexible. You've probably seen this on multiple occasions now, but you can really bend it and it'll just go back into shape. It's really good for spin stealing. It's way better than Mirage was. If I was to compare the bases of Mirage and Vanish, you can see there's a lot more rubber on it, and it's really flexible, and Mirage obviously isn't flexible, but you can really press the rubber down. There's only a few bits of plastic in there, the 3 dragons. Meanwhile, this has a lot of plastic. It's a really cool base. I'd recommend getting it. It's really good. Yeah, it's probably one of the best parts about the bay. Here we'll have the free armor, and there's not really much to say about this other than, you know, it helps the bay go together. Not really much else to say about it other than the fact I really like the stickers on the bottom of it. I think it just makes the bay look a bit cleaner. Yeah, it helps the design, basically. We've got the Fafnir core, which looks a lot better than the Fafnir chip from Sparkin. I like the green on it, and I know a lot of people have mixed opinions on the green, but it's a nice emerald green. And like I said, I really like the orbs on it, and they've done a decent job on this. The teeth are relatively solid, and mine's never burst yet. I've only really seen this bay burst a few times, and that's against Beyblades like Rage Longinus, and to be honest, it can really hold its own against Rage Longinus, which is surprising. However, maybe when the new Longinus comes out for Dynamite Battle, then it might destroy this Fafnir, so who knows. It has 2 modes. It has high mode and low mode. Let me just stick it in low mode first. This is what it looks like in low mode. Let me just put it together. It was in low mode when I first showed you it, but we'll do low mode, then we'll go on to high mode, and it'll probably get stuck in high mode, to be honest. So here's low mode. We're not going to put it together too much just because I need to take it apart again. I don't want it to jam, but that's what it looks like in low mode. Now let's change it into high mode, and what you do is you just put this in this way and you put the chip through the bottom. And yes, it can unfortunately get stuck. However, I know how to get it off now, so it's less of an issue than it was. Brought back the locks what they had on Gachi, where you'd take the locks off. It's not like it was in Sparkin where you just twist it. They've brought back the locks, and this is how it looks in high modes. I don't know how I feel about high mode. I honestly don't think it's as good. I don't think it looks as cool, plus the gap's pretty big. It does look a bit weird, I'm not gonna lie, in high mode, but it still looks pretty cool, and it makes the bay more versatile. One of the main criticisms of Mirage is that it had 2 modes, it just didn't seem very versatile. And Wizard Fafnir wasn't versatile at all, because it would just burst all the time, so yeah. pretty solid looking bay. Let's put that in the background now. Another reason why you should potentially get this bay is because of this part here. And even though it looks like it's a Fafnir, like it looks like in fact it looks a bit like the Mirage base, if I'm going to be honest. It's actually for Dynamite, which comes with Dynamite Belial, and it's also coming out with Dynamite Ragnarok. And it's called the F gear, and you just put it underneath the Dynamite base, like pretend this is Dynamite, and you just sit it underneath there. It's got special locks on it, you've probably seen it before, but yeah, so you kind of sit it underneath, and it gives Dynamite Belial rubber blades, which I think is really cool because it makes it a lot stronger. And the fact that it comes with an upgrade for another bay is pretty cool because we haven't seen that in a long time. Last time we saw that was in Josie with the Extend Plus upgrade, and we also saw the proof what was supposed to come on Vanish Fafnir, but they put it in the launcher set. And this makes Dynamite Belial a bit like Brave Valkyrie with rubber. Rubber on an attack type is really good, so I think it's pretty cool the fact that it came with a pretty cool upgrade. What looks like it probably should come with Fafnir, so it feels a bit like a gift, you know, from free to Bell. And I think it's cool. I think it's a really nice extra to get in the set. And I think I have to get a Dynamite Belial now, or a Dynamite Ragnarok, so I can apply it and see how good it really is. Yeah, I'm pretty excited to use this, and if you have Belial, it's good. I don't know if it's Belial or Belial. I haven't quite worked that out yet, but I'm just going to say both as we go along and just hope for the best. But as for the Fafnir compared to other Fafnirs, is it the perfect Fafnir? So far I'd probably say it is the best Fafnir at the moment, so if you're looking to buy one, I definitely recommend you get Vanish Fafnir. And if you can only get one Dynamite Battle Bay, I probably will say get Vanish Fafnir because it's definitely the coolest, unless you're watching this in the future when Longinus or Valkyrie or something comes out and that's cooler than Fafnir, then go and get that. But if you can only get one, I actually think this is probably the best one to get. But you know, it's really up to you considering what you want. Another thing I quickly want to go over is Saviour Valkyrie's coming out soon. And I don't know if I'm going to get it or not, because personally I think Brave Valkyrie is the ultimate Valkyrie. I just think it's really good and I really enjoy using it. So I don't know if I'm going to get Saviour Valkyrie or not, but what they've done with it is they've made it like Operate or Quake from Metal Fight. And Valkyries are now going to be able to bounce around the arena. And to be honest, I think that's cool because I loved Storm Capricorn back in the day, but is that Valkyrie? You know, does that really feel like Valkyrie? Does that feel like something a Vault would do? You know what I mean? Like, I think it would have been cooler to make a new Hell Salamander and potentially bring Suo back, then give Suo that gimmick. And I really don't know how I feel about Saviour Valkyrie. It is pretty refreshing to see a new gimmick, but who knows whether or not I'll buy that or not. But as for Fafnir, I think it's a really cool bay. It can get some good wins. It can beat the Lucifer bays, it can beat Glide Ragnarok, it can beat World Spriggan, it can beat Brave Valkyrie, it can literally beat anything. It can beat Longinus as well, which is supposed to be its counter. So it's definitely worth it if you want it. So it's a pretty good bay. And if I were to give it a rating out of 10, I'd probably give it a solid 8, because I think it's a pretty cool bay. And it really suits Free, considering Free has had a really cool new redesign. Now he just looks amazing. I love the earrings, I love the slight tweaks they've gave him. Free de la Hoya looks great, Fafnir looks great, and that's all there really is to say. So if you did enjoy this video, thank you very much for watching. If you did find it helpful, I'm happy to help you really. And if you didn't find it helpful, then sorry, I guess you can look somewhere else. I'm sure you'll find someone who gives you a helpful review. But thank you very much for watching. And I might unbox something within the next few days, who knows. I found something in a charity shop basically, and I thought it was pretty cool, so I'll maybe unbox that within the next few days. But thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.